what you want because I literally just hit the record button.
You got to tell her what you want, man. We're live.
All right, so we are currently back again.
Did you tell her how to stir that stuff up or what?
I just went and stirred it. Took me like 2 seconds. It's all good.
Well, we are back and ready to go, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, welcome to the BDSM podcast again for everyone out there, all those foodies who love the booze, desserts, smoke, and meats. I'm Professor Porkloin, and I'm here with my awesome co-host,
The Meat Viking.
the Meat Viking, and we are still continuing our journey along the United States. So today we are talking about Montana, which fucking Montana, man. I feel like that's in the middle of nowhere. There's fucking probably nothing there anyway besides like one city. So should be interesting today. But I also have to say too, you said what? We're almost halfway through our journey through the United States.
Nope. The next state should be number 25 out of 26 or 26 out of, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, man, we have gone through almost 25 states, or 26 states. So this has been a pretty cool thing. I've learned some stuff. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, I've definitely learned more than my fair share of knowledge, I think.
That's funny.
So,
well, we do have a safe word for the day, and I feel like it fits the state of Montana. You want to say that safe word for us?
yeah, I think the safe word should be cowboy. No, you went a completely different way than what I did with this, because I was looking and I was like, hey, like there's a bunch of bison out here, like steak's a super popular thing, and then you were straight. Let's go Brokeback Mountain and make it cowboy, and I was like, that's a little awkward, bud, but I see where you're going.
I mean, aren't there a bunch of gay cowboys out that way?
I don't know. Not that I'm aware of, at least. My fair share of gay cowboys.
True.
So.
But, well, did you happen to get anything in your cup today?
I do not have anything in my cup today.
Nothing?
Nope.
Really? That's surprising. I thought today you'd at least have something.
Wasn't really feeling it today.
Oh, well, I'm definitely feeling it because I had brunch today, which means I was drinking a bunch of stuff. But I also, my wife, one of her friends, wound up going to Kentucky and bringing back some Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale. It's from Lexington. It's Lexington Brewing. And man, this is super smooth. It's like 8.5%, and it's aged in bourbon barrels. And man, this ale is just nice. You can taste the bourbon, but it's not like overpowering. It's got, that vanilla caramel flavor to it. So it is something that is very, very tasty. And I am enjoying that today.
No, that's not like when I think of Kentucky Bourbon Barrel, what's the name of that beer? It's got a horse on the label. Is it Killian's?
Yeah, but that's Irish, man. Killian's Irish Red.
They have a Kentucky one as well.
Well, this is Kentucky Bourbon Barrel, and it literally has a horse on it. So you might be thinking of the one that I'm drinking right now.
Let me see if I can Google fool something here.
Yeah, it's from Lexington Brewing Company, so it's probably the one that you're thinking of. There's some dogs barking in the back. Pain in the ass dogs.
Is this an ale or a stout?
It's an ale.
Yeah. So it's not Killian's. It's got like the same horse on the label. That's what I was looking at. So, but yeah.
Okay, well, it's a really good beer, and I wish I would have had this when we talked about Kentucky because I probably could have been a little bit more on it. But you know what? Montana, you are going to have some Kentucky beer today. But I feel like, you know what? I think the next couple states are going to be real fun. I don't think New Mexico or anything like that's going to be good, but we're approaching on Ohio, Texas, Pennsylvania. So I mean, I feel like we might have to have some part 2 points on those, man.
You, I think we could probably easily get maybe 3 out of Texas alone.
Probably. And I think Ohio would probably be a two-parter
Mm-hmm.
just because I feel like we both know more about it. And then Pennsylvania, I could probably talk about 2 parts just alone. So I mean, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm kind of excited about those. So but man, do you have the first thing that kind of surprised you with Montana or what?
Yeah, the sub that I'm gonna dub the Sasha Grey sub.
God.
No, like, look, okay, it's 5 times long or 5 inches longer, 3 times heavier, twice the flavor, 2 times the diameter, 3 times the ingredients, 3 times classic Bozeman, and it comes with free pickles. Okay, um, and this is known as the pickle barrel. Or it looks like you can get the pickle barrel sub at the Pickle Barrel, which is a Montana-based restaurant. And I'm gonna pop in a screen share here to show you just how ginormous this thing is.
I wonder how much one of those things costs.
It's got to be worth it because like it's like feeding a family of 3 right there.
I mean, so a normal Subway sandwich is 12, although they've been, kind of disputed on that, where once when it's cooked up, it's actually like 11 inches. But who
Right.
cares about that? So you're looking at 17 and a half inches of a sandwich there,
Mm-hmm.
right? So 5 times longer, 3 times heavier, the number one sandwich for the West over 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, that just seems wild as hell.
Oh yeah. And like, man, I'm all for this sandwich. I really am. Like, this reminds me of the that like 14-piece BLT we just talked about the other day, right? Like, you do not need all of this nom nom food, okay? But I approve of it, you know?
Yeah. So I'm looking up some of their. I don't even know if this is right. I might have to look up see what some of the other things are. Pickle Barrel menu prices, and it's looking like some of these things are like $14.
Honestly, that's not that bad for what you get.
That really isn't that bad for a 17 and a half inch freaking sandwich.
Yeah. Like, I am all for this. And I think you can pickle barrel any sandwich they have here. It's not just like their specialty. And so, like, if I wanted to do, I don't even know, just say like a cheesesteak, dude, where else can you get a 17 and a half inch cheesesteak? You know,
Yeah, I don't know.
like, I love me some subs. I really do. But that's like sub for dinner. Then you got some sub left over for breakfast the next morning. And then you have what you didn't finish still for lunch if you really want it.
You know what, man? If I'm stupid hungry, I'd probably eat the whole damn thing in one shot.
Oh yeah. I'm honestly surprised you don't see like on the website here a like a man versus food kind of approach.
Yeah. It'd be like, here's two 17 and a half inch subs filled to the brim with a bunch of shit.
Yep.
You need to eat this in 10 minutes.
Oh, it does look like here that the only location that'll allow you to make the pickles or pickle style subs are in the Bozeman only location.
Okay.
So, which is I guess they have an office in South Dakota, but Bozeman, Montana is where you're going to be looking at. So, it's a little interesting piece on that.
So, what were some of the menu stuff? They have a variety of things, don't they?
It was all like
I see steak, cheesesteak, like meatball. Like, dude, a meatball sub would be great.
mm-hmm.
I could easily go down with some meatball sub, especially if it has provolone cheese on it.
Yeah. It looked like it was a sub shop from the menu I see, with the exception of you can get a salad, um, or they offered catering too, in which you could get like trays of meat cuts and stuff.
Yeah.
So it looks like they found their niche market and they stuck to their niche market, you know? Because, like, let's face it,
Yeah.
if you look at somewhere like Subway, you don't go to the Subway and order pizza. You go there for
But
subs.
Subway's branching off on shit too. They have wraps, they have salads, they have other stuff. Like it looks like this place.
Yeah.
Hey, we have sandwiches. You can either get hot sandwiches like a buffalo chicken or a meatball, or you can get a cold sandwich like a good old Italian
Mm-hmm.
or ham and cheese or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's all we're doing.
That's fair.
And you know what? That's what people need to start thinking about if they ever want to open up a food place or any type of stuff that serves food. Like, dude, you can't overload your menu with a bunch of crazy shit.
Yep.
You can't sit there and be like, all right, I'm gonna have wings, and then I'm gonna have Alfredo, and I'm gonna have all this other crap because that's way too many things for people to think about, for one, and two, that's just a lot of extra stuff you gotta have. Now, if you're like this place, the Pickle Barrel, and you're like, dude, I have bread, cheese, meat, there you go. Like you can do a multiple things with that, and just go, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm only getting like 20 things. There you go. That's all I'm selling.
Yep.
And people need to realize that too and go, hey, you know what? You're going to come for my sandwiches. Who gives a shit if I'm not doing anything else? Because you're coming for my great quality sandwiches.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that oh god, where was it that I had watched it? It was one of those restaurant rescue places, right? And the restaurant that was in the gutter because they had like 75 things on their menu and they just couldn't keep supplies in stock. And
Yeah.
they're like, dude, do like 5 items that your cooks can do fantastically and just knock it out of the park. And then if you guys want to rotate an item, all you have to do is be like, today's special, and we'll say it's like uh open face sandwich. And then the next thing you know, like you can find out if people want to do that open face sandwich.
100% agree with that.
So,
I think people get way too involved in, oh, I got to have every little thing to please everybody,
yep.
when they should just start with 5 or 10 things and just do those 5 or 10 things well.
Mm-hmm.
And then people will just say, okay, I know that this is what it is,
Right. I mean, yeah, that's just is how it is.
Yeah. Well, one of the other things that kind of goes along with this that I saw too, and I think it's kind of funny, it's called the Hoot Dog.
The Hoot Dog.
Yeah, so it was a wild hair idea apparently to the person who decided to make this, and you basically take a hot dog, you throw yourself a nice little skewer right up into the middle of that, and you throw in some fry bread dough, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
then you just put that shit in some oil and let that cook up. So it's kind of like a corn dog, but not as much breading as the corn dog, because it's not like breading, it's just dough that gets put around it. And hey, the person wanted to use the word hoot as a slang term because I guess some people in Montana use that when referring to some religious colony called the Hooterites. So they kind of wanted to just play off that one and just be like, we're gonna call this shit the Hoot Dog.
Now, how is this Hoot Dog spelled?
HOOTDOGS, like a hoot, like a owl hooting.
Okay. Because
So
I tried to find images of it on the interwebs so we could screen share.
yeah, and you coming up with some like porno style shit or what?
No, it wasn't coming up, but I think I just found it. Um, we're gonna do a screen share here, and you'll be able to tell me if this is what it is or not.
That's not what I've been seeing. Although
Yeah.
that looks kind of cool too. I don't know what
Yeah.
the hell that is.
Mm,
It looks
that's
like they're on something.
right.
No, this is on a skewer, so it's almost like like I said,
Gotcha.
almost like a corn dog.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I missed that part. So while I was searching for Hoot Dog photos on the internet,
I was thinking you were gonna get something real bad.
no.
Man, what kind? How do you spell that? Because I'm getting some real crazy stuff here.
Well, so like usually when when I like look up stuff to, share with the foodies watching on YouTube, I can be like, okay, yeah, this is it. But when I typed in Hoot Dog, the first thing I clicked on brought me to the LLC of the business page. And
Yeah,
so I was like, is it maybe WOOT or WHOOT? But no, I put it in HOOT and
yeah. If you do HOOT and then you put Montana afterwards, or Hoot Dog Montana, it looks like you get a better.
okay.
But either way,
Nah, I'm still not even seeing these on skewers. It's just like loaded hot dogs.
you know what? And it might even be that too. But the picture that I have, the dude's freaking holding up almost like a corn dog style shit.
Hmm.
So whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? If it's a Montana thing and it's not that part of the stuff, then you know what? I don't even know.
Right. No, you
We'll just
good.
go along with it.
It is all good. So, but yeah. So, what's your verdict on the Hoot Dog?
You know what? I think my verdict would be that I would have to try it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it might be a knockoff of that corn dog, and I think that that might be too much playing into it, you know?
Yeah. See,
So
I'm not much of a corn dog or a hot dog either eater as well. Now, don't get me wrong. I love me a chili dog,
yeah.
but I would definitely go with the pickle barrel sub before I would do the Hoot Dog.
Yeah, I would probably go for a pickle barrel sub myself, to be
So,
honest with you, because they had a lot of like good things that were coming out of it.
yep,
So I, you know what? If it was the only thing, and I think it might be just around fair time. You know how like you go to a fair, and I think
yep.
I've mentioned this before, like having an episode where we just talk about fair food. Um, I think that's something that would probably fall underneath that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because this person says that it looks like they go to the farmers markets. So I think it's only part of that whole thing.
Gotcha. That
So
makes
it's
more
just
sense.
yeah. But one of the other things that I noticed too, and this kind of goes along with it as well, is Montana's known for their cattle, their beef, and you know apparently that if you go to Chico Hot Springs, they have one of the best prime rib that you can get. And apparently, a lot of people consider it the best prime rib on the planet. Now, I don't. That might be a little too much because one, I love prime rib. Like I
Mm-hmm.
love prime rib eyes. I think I mentioned this before when we were talking about the cuts of the cow way back in like episode 5. Foodies, if you want to learn more about cuts of the cow, I think you need to go back to those episodes. But anyway, like looking at prime rib and even the ribeye, because a ribeye is technically a prime rib. It's just the way that it's cooked. Um, man, if I'm at a restaurant and I see prime ribs on the menu, there's 100% chance I'm gonna wind up getting it. I just love the way that it's cooked. I love that you can get it medium rare and have the au jus next to it. So going to this place in Chico Hot Springs, 100% we're getting some prime rib tonight.
Mm-hmm. There is it's a mix between bar and restaurant that's not that far from where I live.
Yeah.
And dude, they do prime rib um on like Friday and Saturdays, right? And it's like $11 for the plate, and it's fucking fantastic.
Now, how big is the prime rib though?
It's maybe a little bit smaller than like normal size, but it's still a
Yeah.
respectable prime rib.
So like $11, I'm thinking that you're probably looking at maybe like an 8-ounce prime rib.
I would say this probably goes closer to like the 12-ounce prime rib. It's fairly decent in size.
That's pretty good for $11, man.
Yeah. No, it's a steal, like without a
Yeah,
doubt.
that's
It's
100% a steal if you're paying $11 for a 12-ounce
yeah.
prime
Now,
rib.
I'm gonna caveat this by saying I'm 90% sure it's 50% off on Friday and Saturdays. So that's why it'd be the $11.
Yeah, because the restaurant that I used to work at used to do a prime rib special. It was 16 ounces. You got a side and a salad, and it was 18 or $20, something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
man, that was fucking delicious. And I love that prime rib. And they only did it on Friday and Saturday. So
Yep.
I wonder if that's their special of like, here's a 12-ounce one, half off. You get, your side and the salad or whatever for $11.
Yep.
So, but I guess Montana, again, known for their beef, known for the cattle, so you're going to get yourself a nice little ribeye or prime rib that has shit like stuffed mushrooms, um, and it's like the perfect thing to have when you're looking at having that perfect ribeye cut or that prime rib.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that if it's so tender that it's almost like a fillet, you know how people can cut fillets sometimes with a fork.
Yep.
And that's the whole thing about fillets is that, hey, fillets, very tender, very lean cut of meat. And, prime ribeyes are typically more fatty. They have more of that marbling going into that steakhouse language that they say marbling. It's basically just saying, hey, there's extra fat.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like those things that give the flavor. But if you can cut one of those things with a fork, dude, you have got to have the best prime rib if you can do that then.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree.
So
I'm curious as to what the price would that would be too, because if you look at things like Wagyu beef, beef that essentially is able to melt in your mouth because it's so tender. Like, what's the price point on this prime rib?
yeah.
Excuse me.
I
So
mean, I wonder if it's cheap because you have the quantity right there. You know?
that could be a thing as well. And I was just thinking that too, because Montana has access to things that I wish I had access to. Um, i.e. elk and like bison. So like bison I can occasionally get, but the markup on it is a little bit ridiculous, especially
Yeah.
because it's such a niche thing for people over here to eat. Um, and then elk, like I can't even find basic venison even during the hunting season in some of the meat markets I go to because it goes so quickly. And elk would only be in the same regards as that. So,
Well, so I quickly looked up. Apparently, there's a place called Montana Prime Meats, and it's basically like a farm/butcher, and you can get a full cow or full, steer for about $3,000.
mm-hmm.
You need a $500 deposit, but you're getting about 220 pounds of ground beef and then 220 pounds of steaks and roasts. So you're looking at approximately 440 pounds of total meat. And you can get T-bone, New York strip, sirloin, rib steaks, chuck roast, rump roast. So I would think that if you're getting a full steer for $3,100, you could probably sell it for $16 for a pound.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still pretty cheap.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
your overhead on something like that's not going to be that killer. And for those of you who have like oh my god, I forgot the entire word for it. The deep freeze freezer. You know what I'm talking about?
what like What do you
like
mean by deep freeze?
like a spare fucking freezer.
Oh, like one of them. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot the name for it. Either way, if you got one of those on hand and you got like a buddy, dude, $1,500. That right there, if you're both like a family of two, that right there takes care of your meat bill for the year. You know,
Yeah. You know
so.
what's it's funny is that my grandparents always did that. They wound up getting a cow, they'd split it, or they'd get the full one. And man, I always mentioned when I was a teenager or whatever, my grandparents had a fridge in the kitchen, and then
Mhm.
downstairs in the basement they had two freezers,
Yep.
like legit freezers. They're not the like the Frigidaire ones or the what the hell are those things called? I'm trying to think. Um, not the damn, what the hell are those things called? Chest freezers. That's what it is. Um, they had basically two full-on freezers filled with meat, and the joke was if anything ever happened, like nuclear war or whatever it was like we're going over to grandma's house because they have all the food that could last us for probably a year.
Mhm.
And it's pretty funny. My my parents are still going over there eating some of their food.
Yep.
But
And like for, a bit of an investment too, because if you're looking at buying an entire cow like that, you're going to be needing the space, right? And
yeah,
I'm seeing some of them where you're getting like 7 cubic feet of freezer space for between $200 and $300, which, you know, if you make that work for you, that's not bad, you know? So, and especially if you live out in Montana, you're probably going to need two or three of these, especially if you're somebody like me. Because, like, if I were to go hunting in Montana for elk and score an elk, that is going to be something that you eat over time. Like there's a lot of meat on that.
yeah, elks are freaking huge too.
Yep. Yep.
Well, kind of going along with that, then, I mean, bison is another thing. You mentioned it a little bit before, but I mean, bison is one of those things in Montana because of Yellowstone, and I'm sure that there's probably wild ones that you can hunt, and I don't know what the hunting license would be at that point. Like, could you hunt bison up that way? Maybe it's only so many can get killed.
Because I googled this because I wanted to bring this up on if you can or not. You can hunt bison in the USA. I'm trying to see if Montana is on the list of states that is available.
It is. You can get it for a resident, it's $125. If you are a non-resident, it's 1,200 bucks.
Yep. Now it was illegal up until 2005. Um, but apparently we worked on breeding populations through responsible um hunting and harvesting, and it looks like, yeah, because of that you are now allowed to hunt bison, which is super dope.
Yeah, you're gonna get some meat off that one, but I mean, you can do tons of things because they're lower in fat, they're lower in cholesterol than beef, and I mean,
Yeah.
geez, I feel like you can do stuff like a bison stew, or you can even make like bison burgers, or even just have bison steak.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be super fun to go up and
Yep.
kind of eat that right from the source, because it's got to be quality meat.
So I've had actually bison strip steak before.
Okay, and I mean, strip steak, you New York strip, if you're looking at it, it's going to have a little bit of some of that fat or marbling. It's going to be more lean than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So when you compare that to a regular strip, what do you think was different out of the two? Did it taste more gamier than a cow, or no?
It did taste more gamier than a cow.
But was it still like um lean? Like,
It was extremely lean.
okay.
Like, but the best way to describe it was it tasted, what's the word I'm looking for? Because it's something that when you think of steak and you eat steak a certain way for so long, like here, I'll use this analogy with bacon, okay? Um, because I'm sure you've been in the same boat, right?
Yeah.
You've been fed bacon, you've ate plenty of bacon, and then somebody tries to slip you turkey bacon or vegan bacon, right? You can instantly tell that's not fucking bacon.
Yeah, you're right.
This
That's
strip
pretty funny.
steak, I can tell, was like, this isn't quite normal, but I'm also not mad about it. You know, like I could see me move over to a more bison heavy diet if it was readily available.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I kind of feel like this segues into that whole thing too. And we've kind of mentioned this, or we did talk about this when we were talking about Colorado, because I feel like there are some similarities when you're talking about, some of the beef and whatnot, but the Rocky Mountain oysters got to come up again,
yep.
because I think it's probably one of the better places to have it because of the amount of calves that they have.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of times they just dredge it in flour with some eggs and then put in some saltines or some other type of breadcrumbs, and then, dude, there you go. Throw it in the deep fryer.
Right.
So I kind of feel like the Rocky Mountain oysters, although we've talked about that in Colorado, and again, listeners, go back to Colorado, learn more about that stuff. I feel like Montana also goes along those lines because of the cattle, the bison, the meat source to have the availability of those Rocky Mountain oysters. And a lot of times they try using every part of that cow or every part of that steer or bison, and probably even elk too. I don't know. I would think that they'd try to get as much as they possibly could at it. So I think the Rocky Mountain oysters have also been a pretty good part of Montana eating too.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Um, trying to see if this article has some interesting statistics on it. Okay. So since we were just talking about bison and we were comparing the strip steak from a cow versus the strip steak of a bison,
Yeah.
I found out the stat line, if you will, between 4 ounces of bison and beef, right? And so here you're going to look at like your calorie count. Your bison is going to have 166 calories, where your beef is going to be running up to 224.
Okay.
Protein is going to be kind of close, 24 grams in the bison, 22 grams in the regular beef cow. Now, fat is 8 grams per in bison, but it's 14 grams in beef. Carbohydrates, you're getting less than 1 gram in bison, but 0 grams in beef. Saturated fat, 3 grams in bison, 6 grams in beef. Iron, you're going to get about 13% of your daily value. Beef is really close with 12.5. And then beef actually takes the winner on this one with 46% Zeke intake for your daily value, and bison is 35% of your daily value. Um, so that is kind of going to be your go-to, like if you're trying to eat healthier but still stick with like red meat and stuff. If bison is available to you, this would be a great start in the right direction. So, and they do
Yeah.
have similar taste. It's gonna taste a little bit different until you kind of get used to it, you know, but not in a bad way. So,
So I was looking up some of the prices for elk, and I guess elk has some very popular demand when you're looking at Montana hunting. And if you're a resident of Montana, geez, you can get that shit stupid cheap. I mean, you can get it for like $20. If you're non-resident though, you're looking at like fucking um like $1,100 for a tag to get elk.
Yep.
So and they have a limited draw too. So it's not like you can get in there and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this, but you got to worry about the other amount of people because if the residents get their first pick, um, but I've had elk jerky before, but I've never had like an elk steak or elk strip or elk burger. I mean, I wonder what the taste is to that. Do you think that's comparable to the bison, or do you think that's comparable to the cow, or is it more leaner than that? I mean, I have no idea.
God, you're looking more like a venison taste, but like healthier.
Okay, I can see
Um,
that.
a lot of that too is because like, especially whitetail, which is like where you and I are from, would be the commandeer type to hunt,
Yeah,
where you're only going to get to a certain size because of you're going to be feeding that thing mainly corn, mainly soybeans and stuff like that. And so the you are what you eat analogy, I guess, kind of comes into play. Whereas the elk is going to have a wider variety of stuff that it would graze on. And due to the like topography of, say, Montana, where that thing is going to be climbing mountains daily to get to its path, and it's actually going to have to like be stronger to run away from bigger predators. Because, like in Ohio, you might run into a pack of wolves, you might run into a pack of foxes, but you ain't gonna run into a pack of goddamn grizzly bears like you might up here. Um,
yeah,
and so you're gonna have stronger, hardier muscle on that, and it's just gonna make it like your yields on that elk are worth that $1,100 tag, provided you get that hit.
yeah, true.
So,
Well, they do have a lot of hunting up that way for sure.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, with the mountains up there, you're looking, sometimes anywhere between what, like 5,000 and 7,000 feet in elevation.
Yep.
So I mean, you might want to, bring an extra jacket for that because it might be a little cold at that point. But one of the other things that I didn't realize that Montana has is huckleberries.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, huckleberries are like the more popular type of fruit that they have. And man, they do everything from like huckleberry syrup to huckleberry flapjacks. It almost reminds me of Texas. And when we get to Texas, I'll talk more about it. But they have the Blueberry Festival that's down here, and it's the only state sanctioned blueberry festival. So I'll talk more about that one. But I think they have like a Huckleberry Festival up that way because I mean it's such a popular thing, and there are people that purchase a bunch of pounds of these things so that they can make syrup and um, I guess a Huckleberry Swirl is one of the more popular things. It almost looks like a cinnamon. Uh, what the hell am I talking about?
Cinnamon roll.
The cinnamon roll, yeah. But they use huckleberry jam or jelly in the middle of it instead, and then they usually put like the huckleberries on top. So I think that's got to be a pretty cool thing to try.
Oh yeah.
So they got huckleberry cream frosting. Like it's got to be sweet enough and popular enough.
I actually have had pancakes with huckleberry syrup in it, and they were delicious. So, um, but I am gonna double back here. I did find an article from Dr. Axe, which is a nutritionist, and it goes over the benefits of elk meat, and it's 6 ones right here just to kind of like go off and get us back onto other topics here. But elk is high in protein. It's supposed to help aid in weight loss because of some of the stuff that the elk are in it. It's going to help promote immunity health. So because of how vitamin rich this is going to be, you're going to benefit from that. Somehow, probably because of the high iron content in elk, it helps prevent anemia.
Yeah.
It's going to boost your brain health and also strengthen your bones. So, and the reason why the brain health is that elk is high in like the vitamin B in like B12s, which affect your brain, and elk meat is high in methane, which is an amino acid that helps keep your bones strong.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh. But trying to think of some other. Is there any other things that you saw in your research about Montana?
One I wanted to throw out is Highlander Scottish Winter Ale Brownies.
Okay.
And there's a quote here. A basic rule of baking is that in general, it's almost impossible to make an inedible batch of brownies. I'm trying to see if I can find this recipe here, but these look phenomenal. And sadly, I'm not finding a recipe, but I just wanted to share with the foodies here just how pretty this looks. Do a screen share. Now, look at that. Look at that. It's even got some swirl in there.
Yeah.
Like, that looks like a good brownie, okay? And then they're going to put some ice cream on that and serve it with a stout. Man. Oh, my bad. It's a Scottish winter ale. But, like, that's calling to my soul. You know what I'm saying?
I could do two of those. I could drink the beer and the fucking brownie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know so much about the ice cream. I'm never the one to mix ice cream with brownies or shit. I mean, sometimes I'll have it, but man, you throw a beer in there, I'm gonna totally get that.
Yeah, dude. Yep. You just got to be careful, though, because, like, 2 or 3 of these, and the next thing you know, you're going to be, like, acting like your beer is magic shell and just dumping it on top of it and eating everything at once. I like how you went silent with that. Because you're like, you know what? Yeah, I could do that, couldn't I?
Yeah.
uh, shit. So, but I think that's all I had for Montana.
Well, I have a couple other things, and I'm kind of curious to see what your thoughts are. The first one is this stuff called a wagon wheel. So I guess, way back when in 1952, these people had what's called a dash in. It's in Lewistown. So I have no idea where that is in Montana. People who know, you can look it up on Google, whatever. But essentially, what they do is they take a burger, cook it all up, and then they take toasted bread and they put that around the burger and then crimp it around the edge. And it has, like basically a cheeseburger or a burger, but with the bun being your bread, but it's crimped. So when I'm trying to think of what would be similar. Okay, so think of those crustables, right?
Yep.
You've had a crustable
I
before.
pulled a picture up and I was like, this looks like Crustables.
Yeah, so it's like a crustable, but it's got all the shit in the middle, and then they crimp the stuff at the end. So, I feel like that would be pretty cool to have. I feel like that's something to try, and would probably be super easy to make.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm for that. That looks good.
It looks like a little flying saucer of deliciousness, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I guess they have this shit called a Hottentot, which up that way is Coke, but it's got homemade cinnamon syrup. So that is their way to wash it down with. But I mean, I feel like that could be something that could be super easy to incorporate. Like if you just do those burgers, here, we're gonna crimp this shit, we're gonna throw it underneath the salamander, let it toast up a little bit, and then boom, you got yourself a burger.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what? You don't have to worry about, how sometimes burgers are fucking huge and you can't like put your mouth around it because they have so many more toppings. like using the wagon wheel method and crimping that shit around knows that you can get the burger, the cheese, the pickles, like whatever you want to put on it, and know that you can actually eat all that without having a sloppy ass mess surrounding it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, that's really not a bad idea to actually have that, to be honest with you.
Right.
Um, I would give that one a try. I would have to try and see if that would actually be something I would really enjoy or not.
Yeah. I'm still kind of like wrapping my head on the wagon wheel.
Yeah, I wonder where that comes from because if you look at a wagon wheel, it's got spokes in it, you
Mhm.
know? Like that's not what a wagon wheel looks like.
Nope.
So I wonder why they call it that.
I don't know, man. I don't know. And also, I tried Googling Hottentot. Well, apparently that is a brand of fishing lure.
Why
And
don't you put hot and tot soda?
yeah, I'm still getting fishing lures.
Really? Because I got both. I got
Oh, there we go. Now I got both.
yeah, I got the hot and tot mad flash for the fishing lure. And then
Okay.
I'm seeing the 16-ounce jar of hot and tot syrup.
All right, we're gonna do something here because I find it absolutely fucking hilarious. We're gonna screen share. All right. Can you see my screen now?
Jesus, look at that.
Right.
Look at
So
all them fishing lures.
all right. Now look, this is what Bing told me.
Well, Bing is
Microsoft,
shit. Why are you even using Bing?
bro, dude, new computer. Who dis? Okay. And so, like, we see our little hot and tot ginger ale. We have a hot and tot store, right? And we keep scrolling down, keep scrolling down, trying to find more, and then just random picture of women in bikinis.
Hey,
And
they're
then we're
hot. They're hot to trot, not
hot to
hot
try.
and tot.
Yeah, and then we're back to fishing lures and
I see breakfast there, right? What was
yeah,
that on the right? Yeah, what the fuck is that?
mm, it looks like a chicken fried steak.
Okay.
So probably hot, also hot. I don't know. But I just found that kind of funny. So you got anything else for Montana?
You know what? I I don't think I have anything else. I think I think there's probably some things we missed, as with basically every episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we actually did a pretty good covering of what Montana really is. So
Well, like
I'm good, man.
yeah, you got to think too. If we like were in a position to where we could be like, "Yo, we're gonna do this podcast once every other month, but every other month we're gonna go to this state and eat the food there," we might be able to find some more things. But we are uh we are letting our stomachs choose our heart's desire, and on a weekly basis, getting you as much information as we possibly can.
You know what? If one of us won the lottery, I feel like we would have to revisit all of these states again because we could go to all the states and try some of this shit and then
Yep.
just vlog that fuck out of it and go, okay, now we actually try everything that we talked about.
Yeah, dude. Like if I won the lottery, that's we would do exactly what I just described once a month. Hey man, we're taking a weekend off. Let's go do this. You know?
Yeah, we're going to fucking Washington. We're going to Montana. We're eating all the fuck that we can.
Yeah. So, but foodies,
Well, maybe there's some foodies out there that would want to sponsor us in doing that. That would be great.
right? So,
But
well,
yeah, I got nothing, man. You want to take us out?
yeah. It's been another fun episode of the Booze Dessert Smoke&Meats podcast. We hope you learned some interesting choices today. Um, for those of you who want to go for a healthier red meat option, hopefully by choosing either elk or bison, if it's available for you, that might help you in making some of your like goals in life a little easier. So, other than that, any of you who have that Highland Scottish brownie recipe, hit it up in the comment section below, and we'll see you in the next one. I've been the Meat Viking with my wonderful co-host.
Professor Porkloin.
And we'll see you next time.
See you in the next one.